So hello and welcome guys. It's time to get in the greatest character in Season 10. You guys have seen him in pro play. You've heard big things about him in the Kika chat himself, Orisa. So how do you win on Orisa? Oh wait. I confused myself with an Orisa streamer there for a second. That's not how we roll, boys. Come on. Let's get serious. It's time to get in the Season 10 buffed Reinhardt, big HP Reinhardt. How to win every single game and reach champion like I did on Ryan. I know I've said this a long time coming, the guide guys, but I was kind of stuck for a month and a half, let's be honest. I was stuck a month and a half in a GM5. But then at the end of last season, like last week, I finally figured out the playstyle, how to win on Reinhardt. So I will be breaking down the abilities, how to win the playstyle in the debuff meta, different game modes, and some extra tips at the end there, guys, to spice up your gameplay and do even better. It will be basic to very advanced in the end, guide. So let's get into this. So first thing first, guys, let's get into Reinhardt Hammer. It pretty much does 100 per swing. You keep it, hold it down, it does 100 damage. You just keep swinging, it does damage everywhere, alright? That is the basics. Let me get into some advanced tips on the hammer. Number one advanced tip, guys. Let's say for an example, you start swing here, right? Like you're swinging here. That's okay, you know? But you can do this, right? You can start swing here, you hit there. Doesn't matter where you start the swing, you hit there. So like, it's not like a hit scan, it's like, it hits everywhere on your screen. Look at me randomly spinning around, it is hitting everywhere, right? So remember that when you're using the hammer. Another advanced tip I have for you guys, as you can see guys, I cannot hit the shoulder while swinging, right? But when you do this technique that you like swing around a little bit like this, it actually increases the hammer range. That's why I advise that you should have higher sense. I'll get into it later. But that's pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much with the hammer. I'll have some advanced techniques at the end of the abilities, how to do this even more efficiently. Second ability is your big shield, guys. You can hold your shield that has 1400 HP and just hold shield, you know? You can't shoot shield. There are a couple weapons that go through the shield. For an example, Winston Tesla Barrier goes through the shield. Every quick melee goes through the shield. Genji Blade goes through the shield, right? There are these things that Moira Coalitions goes through the shield. So you just keep holding shield until it breaks. Let me fast forward to until it breaks here. So here we go, guys. After this exciting shootout with my opponents here, you can see barrier is down. Let me give you guys some little quick tips about the barrier. For you to use any other ability, you have to drop down your shield. Let me walk forward here. You cannot swing while you're holding your shield. I have to drop my shield. You also cannot fire strike while holding shield. You also cannot hold shield while pinning. I feel like that would be a cool buff though. And of course, you cannot hold shield while utilizing your ult Earth Shatter. There is one thing I want to show you with shield though, guys. It's very important that you remember this. This applies to a lot. So here's some shield interactions that you should know. Okay, like here we're about to see Diva Bomb with full HP shield. Okay, like see how it works, right? Diva Bomb does 1000 damage, right? Pretty simple. Look at here, the Diva is gonna shoot my shield, right? Like she's gonna shoot my shield. Now I have less than it shouldn't block the Diva Bomb, right? I have 86 HP on shield. 196. So, let's say Diva does 1000 damage to my shield. When it's 1 HP, it will still block the 1000 damage, right? That is how the mechanic of the shield works. So 1 point of shield can be infinite. It can block plenty of abilities. For example, Rein Earthshatter on 9 HP shield, guys. And it usually shouldn't like. So remember these sort of mechanics when you're holding shield. 9 point of shield HP can be very valuable. Now we go for Reinhardt charge, guys. Reinhardt charge does 275 damage when you hit a wall and you have slight control. You can go a little bit left, right, not too much control, but just a little bit, right? So 275 damage, you don't have a fortify, you don't have damage reduction, you ain't got nothing. You ain't the Mauga, guys. You're playing a character from 2016. You ain't got none of that damage reduction or just a fortify during me. We ain't got none of that, right? So remember that. So pretty much go for pins, guys. If you feel like things are looking desperate, go for a pin, but that's pretty much charge. Then I have some advanced charge tips coming right now. So there's like this really cool technique where you can pin people off the map. You know, you can do this for an example. And you go here and boom, pin cancel, throw them off the map, you don't go off the map. So that's a big improvement, guys. And remember to give them a little love tap like that, okay? And just remember, like, tanks, you need to be closer than supports or DPS. Because tanks have the so-called steadfast passive, right? So they need a little bit of a more poop. You can break down and replay. What's that? Now we're gonna compare it against Mei. Okay, here we can see May against supports and DPS, pretty much the same thing. You go here, you throw them off the map, you do that, you see how much further they fly. So remember that, guys. Tanks need to be closer, DPS and supports, just give them a little bit of a tap and they go really far. Now we come to Fire Strike, one of my favorite abilities. I don't know what it is about Fire Strike, but every time you hit a fat Fire Strike, you just feel so good about yourself, you know? I can't really explain it, but you feel really good, you know? I feel very satisfied when I hit a Fire Strike. So Fire Strike does 120 damage, okay? They have buffed the damage to 120. So you can almost two-shot with window, but not quite. Fire Strike has infinite range. So for an example here, I could go right up around here. It goes infinitely. As you can see, it flies. It does not go through May walls, does not go through walls, but it does go through barriers. Remember that. Infinite range, no range fall off. And well, my aim is horrible. Well, I'm a Reinhardt main, so no fall off, no nothing. Gets amplified by nanos. I missed again. Well, life is hard. Okay, I swear I'm the best Rein. And then we get to the Verse Venture ult. The Reinhardt Earthsetter. Reinhardt Earthsetter does 50 base damage from afar, right? But if we get a bit closer on Reinhardt, it does way more damage. It does 200 damage if you hit the plop and the big stun. Okay, long stun. The plop is this thing on the crown right here. You see, you hit the plop and the shatter, that is 200 damage. So you can, technically, you can one-shot Tracer with your plop. But I mean, it's hard to hit Tracer, but you can one-shot Tracer, do that. And then there's other characters like Soldier. Soldier has 250 HP. So you shatter Soldier. Guys, and there was a Reinhardt shatter buff this patch. It used to be 2.7.5 second stun, but now it's 3 second stun. And it was 20 meters range, now it's 25 meters range. And the stun duration, it's kind of nice, but the range buff has actually been quite huge for me multiple times. And now let me show you the new shadow range. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? This is pretty far away, guys. Like, imagine this range, and I'll show you like one clip right now of a long range shadow here. So here we are, guys. We are playing a new chunk city game, and with ML7, a really good game, guys. Really stacked. A lot of Overwatch CS players, a lot of good players, you know, classic players like A10, Crispy, Hitori from Super Side, whatever. Let me show you a 5-man shatter. This would never be possible. This is a perfect example of the Earthshatter bunch. Like, look how far I am. I am here, and they are there. Insanely long stun. And that's what I call a 5-man shatter. 25 meter 5-man shatter. So like, remember, the Earthshatter range is actually huge. So you guys should try around, you know, play around with it a little bit. Just look at the range. Look at my POV. I'm here and they're all stunned across the bridge. The range is absolutely incredible right now. So keep that in mind when you play. I'll have a couple of Reinhardt tips here how to use Earthshatter. Okay, Earthshatter, let's be honest, your ult is pretty shit. Okay, it's gonna get cleansed. Enemy Orisa is gonna fortify. It's gonna be a drone. They're gonna beat it. You're gonna get pooped. You're gonna get discorded and die while pinning. So I recommend solo shatter, anyone shatter, anything you see here. I got very lucky. I think this is literally the only 5-man shatter I have gotten in like months, and I play Reinhardt like 8 hours a day, every single day pretty much. So just go for solo shatters. Go for any sort of shatters. Try to shatter the tank. Try to shatter Kiriko. Shatter 1 DPS. Does not matter. 1-man shatter to kill them is already valuable, guys, okay? Okay, guys, so let's get into Reinhardt mind games. I know a lot of people are playing Orisa right now, but this is still good advice, guys. So I'm gonna explain to you a couple of Rein mind tricks you can utilize while using your Earthshatter, guys. This is like, because this is where the fun of Reinhardt comes in. I mean, unfortunately for me, a lot of people don't play Reinhardt Mirror, but if you ever get the lucky chance, these are a couple of hot tips you can use. Like for an example here, we see enemy Reinhardt holding shield. At some point he's gonna throw a fire strike, most likely, you know, to build ult charge. So that's like one very basic thing you can look to shatter. Alright, because there's also one thing, like if you guys are ever playing against a cowardly Reinhardt player who just keeps walking backwards like this, guys. Remember, like, you can walk inside the shield to Earthshatter them. Remember, because there's like a small frame of Reinhardt here, as you can see here when I look up. You can walk into him and shatter him. That is also a thing you can do if you're playing against a cowardly Reinhardt who would rather be a dancer than a fighter. Show them that it's time to go back to the dance school. Okay, so guys, there's a guaranteed way to hit a shatter on Reinhardt. Obviously, it's a bit more risky, but there's a guaranteed technique. I'm gonna show you a failed version yet. Okay, when you pin Reinhardt and you cancel pin, they gonna hold shield, right? But there's like this one animation, you can even slow down it on the video here, right? Like when you pin Reinhardt, you pin cancel, they're like stuck in a stunned animation, right? Like they're like holding back because like they're still in a pin, and that is a perfect time to shatter the Reinhardt. It will always hit, there's nothing they can do about it. So overall guys, earth shatter tips, there's a lot of different tricks, let me know if you guys have any, but those are like the top 3 tricks I have. Sometimes I like to like think about like when Reinhardt shield is low, for an example, right? I like to try to shatter them, you know? I just go for like, it's in my head, honestly, like, so it's kind of hard to explain, but I just have a gut feeling. So like, I recommend you guys just go for YOLO shatters. Go for YOLO shatters when Orisa has Fortify, even when Reinhardt is holding shield up, Monkey has jump, Kiriko has cleanse, Pap has drone, don't matter guys, just go for shatter, because it can be a very hard to utilize. Now we get into that important part, guys, how to maximize your damage as a Reinhardt. This is extremely important. Let's look at the kill time on this Jungle Queen for an example. Swing, swing, swing. Pretty slow, right? But then let's start to utilize this combo what I like to call swing cancelling. Okay, if you want to optimize your damage on Reinhardt in melee range without pinning, this is what you have to do. Swing, fire strike, swing, fire strike. This is what you have to practice, right? It took me a really long time to go from swing, fire strike, right? It's not simple, but the faster you cancel your animation, this is the fastest way to do DPS on Reinhardt, okay? There's also another way to do this. You can do it with every ability. You can swing cancel, like I'm clicking shield there, right? As you can see, like shield is not even up. And then you can also swing cancel with pin, right? Like you can go for a cheeky swing cancel combo. You can also do this swing shatter, more damage, and then also go swing ping. Sounds pretty goofy, but yeah. So remember to always try to cancel your swings. Very important. So guys, there is a new mechanic in Overwatch called the heal debuff. When you get shot by any DPS character, you get minus 20% healing. And this kind of changes the fundamental of the game a little bit, right? Like this is a huge update. Everyone got more HP, everyone got heal debuff. They wanted to delete one shots, and I feel like the game is better than ever. You can have different opinions, and that's fine. But this is what I think. Alright, so how you want to play with the heal debuff is, guys, let's say for an example, you are getting shot by a lot of enemies. You want to hold shield and get the heal debuff off before you get healed up, right? That's what you want to do. Let's get into the next part. So now we're going to get into the playstyle of Reinhardt, guys, okay? Like, there is one important concept that will allow you to win a lot of games. This is like something a lot of tank players don't realize. Okay? I'm gonna show you some footage, guys, but it's about... You know when you're going in and you can't kill the supports, and enemy tank is on your backline? There's two options. Option A, you keep pushing and die to the enemy backline. Or option B, you fucking sit there and hold your shield and zone the enemy DPS and supports while your team kills the tank. Okay? That is how you play tank at a high level. You don't kill the backline most of the time, you just sit there and you out-sustain the enemy tank. Okay? Very important concept. That is the number one concept how you win stacked and hard games, especially in higher SR when you keep climbing up. Guys, here we are, the cockroach supports. Here we look at the POV, right? Here we lost Mr. Cash Criminal, like, right? And you know what we do here? We see the enemy beta tank, non-Reinbro, walking into my backline. Here is Mr. Darkside Phil from Oh Yeah. I don't know where anyone else is, whatever, right? So, like, Orisa is walking on our squishy or DPS, right? And you know what we do? We don't give a fuck about that, Orisa, bro. We are walking it in on the enemy backline. Here, technically, you might be thinking, damn, you ain't doing nothing, bro. But, like, I have distracting Kiriko, kind of distracting Ana, so you're actually creating an incredible amount of space. Look at that. Then the Kiriko TPs, Kiriko did not heal Orisa. Ana did not heal Orisa. And you know why this Orisa died? Because of us. You might think it was Darkside Phil, but he is dead because we held shield here and we killed Orisa. You see? Look at Ana POV. What can this guy do? He can't help him. He can't help him. And that's how you play tank, guys. That's how you play tank. You zone the enemy backline. Can't sleep, can't heal. Kiriko can't heal either. Look at Xerion Godhand POV here. Look at this POV. Pro can't even look at the tank, you know, and then he goes build a cast and then it's over. And then this guy Ajax. Remember, Reinpro's out-sustain. We zone backline, we do all of these things, then we utilize the 3 playstyles, then we utilize my formula of good teammates, bad teammates, how to figure out That's how you can figure out every single time what to do. I will show you the perfect formula on the next part of this video. But utilize the formula, guys. It's perfection. So hello guys. Here we are about the mentality how to play Reinhardt. And easier to understand this game has a lot of characters. Like it has a couple of characters. So here on your screen is a tier list for characters that are hard to easy to play on Reinhardt. The DPS first, supports next, and then tanks. So it changes a lot about how your mentality, how you wanna approach a game, right? Like let's say for an example, enemies playing a Zenyatta and a Baptiste, and Orisa and Junkrat, and probably a Pharah for an example, right? That makes the game very annoying, okay? Because like how do you get the Orisa is so everything about Orisa counters Reinhardt, everything. So it changes the game a lot. And then for an example, if enemies playing Moira, Brig, Widowmaker, Genji, right? Like that is a free win. So just look at the screen here, pause and look and like think about these characters, and like this determines a lot, right? Because like the way you play against Wrecking Ball is completely different the way you play against Sigma. For an example, against Wrecking Ball, you cannot do anything to Ball. Literally pointless. You chase him, you're throwing the game. So, and against Sigma, only thing you do is run him down and kill the Sigma every time. Because Reinhardt absolutely dominates Sigma. And Zarya, same thing works. And obviously if you're playing against Reinhardt, guys, you're gonna Rein cap him, right? So, he's a piece, right? Also, how to help you determine how you want to play. This is a tier list of characters you have on your team. So let's say you have a Lucio Baptiste. That will enable you to play very aggressive. I love Lucio Bap Symmetrame, extremely good. Venture is also extremely good with Reinhardt. Like, see, they can go in and dig in a lot and move around. It's very powerful, guys. So remember, when you have these characters, this is how you can build your combo around. And let's say for an example, you have a Mercy Brick, very bad. But then there's also like a variation of these rules that you have to be careful. Like Moira is very bad with Mercy. Lucio is very bad with Brick. Lucio is very bad with Mercy. Lucio is bad with Illari. Bap is bad with Mercy, right? So like these combos can swap, like these can become bad heroes comboed with bad heroes. That's why there's 3 supports in bad. Because like all of these supports make all of these supports bad. Okay? So if you have one of these supports, Illari can work sometimes, but if you have one of these supports, it will automatically make these supports bad. I just have Life Fever in mid, because that's easier, gonna have fun losing. So hello guys, here we are. Like after seeing those characters, I'm gonna introduce you to the Rein Playstyles. There's like 3 of them. Number 1 and the most funnest you can utilize when you're playing against easy characters, right? This one you can utilize is Rush, Run in, W, 3, 2, 1, Rush in. Second one is sometimes walking, sometimes sponging. And then there's 3. Sponge hard. You will suffer, but you can win. Okay, so these are the 3 play styles. Let me break it down for you guys. So like there's a very important concept, guys. Right? Like the most important thing about Reinhardt is that you always 3-2-1 everything you do. You walk out of the door, you 3-2-1. The game starts 3-2-1 in hands. You walk out of a throw, 3-2-1 shielding. You want a speed boost, 3-2-1. You want an earth shatter, 3-2-1. You want to talk to your girlfriend, boyfriend, mom, dad, brother, friend, uncle, grandpa, whatever, your child, 3-2-1 before you talk to them. 3-2-1 anything you do in life. Okay? 3-2-1. Doesn't matter what you do. You're about to take a poop, 3-2-1. Okay? Very, very important. This will get your team on the same page. You say like, guys, okay, we're gonna do this, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna rush in the main, push there, 3-2-1, okay? This is how I'm so good at the game. I 3-2-1 every single action in my life I ever do. 3-2-1 is my guidance. 3-2-1 must become your guidance. If you wanna reach champion and play Reinhardt like me, always 3-2-1. No matter what's happening, 3-2-1, guys, okay? So now that we have driven that through, let's get into the different playstyles we're gonna utilize in Reinhardt to win this season. If you use the abilities and these playstyles, all of you can become like me, reach champion. This is the only thing I did, guys. It's not gonna be too hard. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, so here we go. This is the fun playstyle, okay, guys? So let's look at the map. I mean, obviously here we're in third perspective, guys. But an enemy is AFK, but who cares? The concept applies. This is the 3-2-1 rushing, walking no matter what. So here, you see what I see, guys? I see a Ram, I see a Lucio, and I see a Moira. So no, I know I don't have an Orisa against me and Zenyatta, who are my #1 opponents, okay? If enemy has no Zen or Orisa, you are way better to go. Okay, Zen and Orisa are your #1 opponents. So now I know I can just walk in, right? So you know what I do? I start walking in. I pin in, I go, I'm taking all the space, shooting the Ram, you know, peeling backwards. We killed their Widow. Now I hold shield a little bit to get healed up. And you see what I do instantly again? I'm about to walk in on this Ram. Right? Walking, guys, walking. And it's about, you know, I identified that they have an easy comp to walk in, so I just keep walking it in, you know? And then boom, fight 1. I saw it down here a bit, guys. That's pretty much it. You need to identify what enemy comp has if they have no hard counters. And for an example, I mean, then we come to a second part of this, like your teammates as well. So here we go, guys. Another example, guys. You still remember my teammates, enemies, right? We still see the comp, right? So my playstyle this game is always gonna be running always when you can. Obviously, you can't run in every fight, but here we go. Another example where you just run it in, right? Like I see enemy, I don't need to peel, I need to push. I see the high noon. I wait out the high noon, guys. I have to touch the point. Here I ask one of my teammates to touch point, and then I'm pinning it in. You see that? Absolutely nothing given. Just walk it in, run it in, and that's how you win this matchup, okay? You have to run it in. In a Lucio mirror, it doesn't flex support. It's not really relevant what the enemy has. You have to walk it in, okay? Just remember, guys, rush in, run in. That's how you win. Okay, that is the #1 playstyle, guys. Okay, remember, identify what enemy has, run in, walk in no matter what. I mean, there's a little bit of intensity that I'll explain a bit later in the video, guys. But that's the basic gist of that playstyle. #2 playstyle. Sometimes walking, sometimes punching. Here we have a perfect example, guys, of I think sometimes walking, sometimes punching, right? Like here, like look at our composition. We have Ana, Genji, and a Brick, right? So it's kind of hard for me to walk. And they have they have 2 hard counters, okay? They have Junkrat and Orisa, right? And Baptiste also kind of annoying. This is a very high ranked game, by the way. A lot of pros here. But anyway, so we have all these comps going, right? And so like here my game plan is I know our ult, we have nano played, and I know what I'm walking into. So I can't be the one like walking all the way. So look how I play this fight out. I walk main, I see them use drone, enemy uses window. Am I pinning into the window like a maniac? No, because I know this is just I need to sponge the enemy tank. So we sponge the tank, and then our Genji kills everyone, right? And then we keep sponging. We just took the aggro of a tank to make sure it doesn't peel our Genji. And then remember, guys, very important part of Reinhardt, always push to hold space. Space is your best friend, okay? Right, and let me go to the next example. Here we are, we're about to roll out again, guys. I don't have an optimal comp to walk in, so... Now we sponge again, guys. We sponge again, okay? We're doing the sponging here. Right, so we see they have a Bastion or Orisa. We do sponging, guys. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because here bad things happen, right? Like our Tracer gets picked. We don't have a drone, so here I just go next point. Okay, I'm about to show you the peak sponge hard gameplay right here. So at this point, you should guys know, if you lose first point, an enemy is playing a rush composition, right? So they want to run in and kill you, and you're playing a sponge hard. Right here, obviously, you're going to sponge very hard. Okay? So, you're just going to sponge this one out. And like, see, they're going to build window. I know they have window, because like, you got to understand, guys, if enemy wins first fight and they sit in a choke for a limit, they're going to have window. And I know, what is enemies... Always think about this mid-fight, guys. What is enemy's objective when you're playing Reinhardt? Their objective is to kill you. They have a comp to kill you, not to your team. So here I see a Bastion walking at me, a window walking at me, so I kite. I'm sponging right now. Look at me sponge. I just sponged every single cooldown. My Baptiste helped me out. I was like 50 HP at one point. And now enemy's out of resources, and now it's our turn to push, you know? Sometimes push, sometimes sponge. You see what value I'm getting? I just got like 30% ult charge, and now we sponge again. You see? Perfect. I think this fight is a perfect sponge. Let me play it at normal speed for you as well, guys. Okay, this is a perfect example of first you sponge, then you push. Like, absolutely perfect fight. So we see enemy taking aggro on us, we hide on Reinhardt. We're like, okay, they've used form, they used fortify, they've used like everything. We lift it, this is now it's our turn. We have our own window, we shoot them, go for the fire strike, and now we push. And remember that, guys. When you have this kind of a comp where you don't have a Lucio, you need to sponge before you can push, okay? Sponging is your best friend. And then, guys, for our third playstyle sponge art, you will suffer, but you can win. And let me tell you, in high SR, you guys get to utilize the probably number 1 playstyle or number 2 playstyle a lot in low SR. But let me tell you, in my GM1 games, GM2 games, champion games, the only thing you will do, my friend, is to suffer. I will show you an example of sponge art because this is the most popular playstyle in my SR. So we have Mr. O in our team, and look at enemy comp. They have your number 1 opponent, Orissa. So how would we possibly play number 1 playstyle here? Okay, let's identify first. How can we play number 1 playstyle? It's this map, we can't push. We have Babchen. Babchen wins by sponging. Lucio wins by pushing. Sometimes you can sponge on Lucio, but yeah. So we're going to play extremely slow. I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna show you what I do all game. And I am the highest sharded Reinhardt in the whole world, by the way. I was GM1 this game. Enemy has a champion Tracer. I don't know who Duppy is, but they are champion on Tracer, guys. So we're just gonna look at me play the game. I don't do anything. I am just standing main, taking damage, farming, baffled, not taking too much poke when it doesn't matter. We get a pick here, so we woke up, but then we get a Lucio, and then we won. You know why we won? Because we sponged damage. We lost a guy. You know what we do, guys? We don't panic. We go backwards and we keep sponging. Look at that. Discord orb getting shot by a lot. Now enemy also has a Reinhardt breaking comp, so we're playing a suffering game here. This is truly the point of you will suffer, but you can win. I'm just gonna show you how we win. Right, so look at this, our team is dying, but doesn't matter, guys. 2 of my teammates got picked, but we are playing a sponge comp. As long as you have a flex support alive, you can always win it. Now, you see, because I was sponging damage, my Sojourn ulted, and enemy used 2 support ults, and that's the whole point of the sponge art. Like, this is the secret of sponge art. Okay, you sit there, you take all the damage, you play all the corners, avoid getting shot by 5 people, and you bait enemy resources on you, so people like Yoko Loco can destroy them. Like, it's sponge is all about baiting them, holding space, and when enemy uses ults, you kite, or if you get a push big, then you push. That is how you sponge. You have to make sure you don't die to nothing. And if you die, they have to like push you really hard or use a lot of ults to kill you. In a good scenario here, I kite double support ult, right? Right? Enemy used 2 support ults, we're still alive. You know, we're doing the classic Colossal cheese. We have no shield, so we're gonna hide a little bit. Then Yoko gets a pick. You know why he got a pick? Because we were sponging. Right, so the fight started by us getting picked and another one getting picked. We were in a 5v3, then our guy forced 2 ults and we're still alive. Look at us go. We're gonna hold this high ground here. And then we push here, guys, because I noticed that we have a kill and enemy is very split, right? So we push the Orisa away and we still... You know why I'm pushing? Because we have a pick. Then the Zenyatta dies because we made forward and made space. And that is the secret to the sponge. Here is a good example of me failing to sponge. You know, like, this is number 1 mistake you make in a sponge comp. You want to play the game. The worst thing you can do on Reinhardt when you're sponging is to play the game. Never play the game. Like, look at me. I'm going for a big shatter, guys. Right? I'm gonna go for a big shatter. I thought I hit everyone, but I didn't the Hanzo or 10, so I just die like an idiot. I mean, unlike a drone, but yeah. What did we learn about sponge art? Sit there, take damage, don't play the game, bait resources, and hope your DPS and supports win. And I have done this playstyle all the way to champion. Okay? So, that's sponge art, ladies and gentlemen. So guys, now we've gotten with the abilities. Here is when things get interesting, okay? Like, we all have a choice in life, okay? Like, I'm gonna be straight with you, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're going to play Reinhardt and you wanna make it to champion, wanna make it to GM, wanna make it to master, whatever your goal might be, it's going to be very hard. You're not going to have fun a lot of the times, you're going to suffer. You know what's my highest stats? I am a level 203 Reinhardt. What is my highest statistic? You can calculate this in your head, but I have 3,375 damage mitigated. I have 1,899 damage mitigated here. You can calculate how much damage I mitigated. What am I doing every single game? I am holding shield. Okay. So what you're going to do is, unfortunately, there is fun Reinhardt games, and then there's fun hard games. And I will get into the playstyles, what you need to do to win those unfun games. But you're going to suffer. And there's going to be a lot of unfun moments, but you're a Reinbro. Don't be an Orisa Pro. If you're a Reinbro, you're set on this path. You do not swap. Your team calls you shit, your team says Rein swap, you say no. You swap. Do not submit. They will always flame you. I have had so many games in my team where people will flame me and say it's your fault. when it's not my fault. And then I go in the VOD and I explain it to them that it was actually not my fault. It's never Reinhardt's fault. Okay? Do not accept blame until it's actually your fault. And which is very rarely is the Reinhardt's fault. It's always a DPS support issue, never tank issue, remember that. So, I'm just telling that to you guys, do not submit and become an Orisa Pro. Never. Under no circumstances become an Orisa Pro. We must stay strong, guys. The Rein Pros need to stay strong, and together you can reach champion status as I have reached. So choose the right way, become a Rein Pro, do not submit, stick to the bitter end. As I always say, go down with the boat, and I always go down with the boat. Guys, and with this formula and with these tips, now you have figured out the play style and everything, how to figure out when to play fast, when to play slow. I will break down every single game mode for you. And if you do all these things I'm about to tell you, remember it's a perfect formula. It's the Rein Pro formula. What heroes do I have? What heroes does enemy have? Do I have good characters? Does enemy have good characters? That's pretty much it. Remember the formula. Always the formula. Because like I know it's hard. Because I have played 100,000 of games, hundreds of thousands of games of Overwatch, right? So I know these things, okay? Like I know it in the back of my head, but this takes so much experience, so I'm sharing the experience to you, all my fellow Rein Pros, okay? Use the formula, okay? I will break down the game modes now. Okay guys, so here we go for our maps and game modes, how to play them. I'm gonna be showing you guys a tier list that we can use in the Rein Pro formula here, okay? I'm gonna show you the maps that are good, bad, and mid. Here we go, guys. Here is the tier list of maps, okay? Here we have good, I mean, as you can see, like, you know, you're gonna have Shambhala, Havana, Circuit, Nepal, Lijiang. The top is the very best maps we could possibly get as Reinhardt. And then at the bad, we have 3 big ones. This is what I call absolute suffering. I think I have 20% win rate on these maps in Reinhardt. Paraíso, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, and Dorado. And then these maps can be pretty annoying. Busan, Oasis, Ilios, and Numbani. And then you can see Restart there. Usually push is pretty good, and Flashpoint is very good for Reinhardt, right? So I'm gonna be breaking it down for you guys, how to like play every single game mode real quick. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna do a 20-minute breakdown, but like basic concept that applies to every game mode. As a side note, every King of the Hill is so different, right? So, but it's still basic concept apply, but when you play like Ilios, it's like a bit hard, but let's get into it, right? Here we are at Busan, guys, right? I mean, I'd like to say there's like 3 levels of Rein points as well. And in Busan, for an example, the best Rein point, like every single map has a good Rein point, except Ilios. Ilios is horrible. But anyway, like Busan Mega Base, it's the good Reinhardt point on Busan, and then there's one horrific one, right? So you really want to win this one, right? And when you have a good inside map on Rein, you want to play like the normal fast style or sponge, depending on your team comp. I mean, this game is a bit weird, like we have double flex support and stuff, right? But you want to play the fast style most of the time, and sponge style on this. You want to play number 2 play style or number 1 play style. You see how I play here, right, guys? Like I walk it in, take their side, take all the space. All the space. Remember, guys, walls are your best friend, okay? Walls are really your best friend. So I take all the space here, right? Don't die. I trust on my supports to give me a drone. Then my teammates are trading aggro with me. And you see, by sponging damage and walking forward, I have claimed the map, okay? So let's go back a little bit here, okay? So that's King of the Hill is all about taking space first fight, okay? I mean, this is kind of relevant to everything, but King of the Hill, it's all about taking space first fight, holding corners. That's pretty much it. Especially on the good Rein points. And then you push after you recharge cooldowns. So King of the Hill first fight is most important, and then you make a play when you have an opening, right? So remember, guys, take the best possible wall. I mean, you have to practice every map. I can't tell you every single perfect precision for every single map in this guide. But first fight, take all the space, okay? All the space. So first fight, take all the space, claim everything. Let's go a bit forward here. And there's a small thing here, guys, okay? Like, this is looking hard, right? Enemy's gonna walk in an horizontal and we probably lose this fight, right? But look how you play in King of the Hill. You hold to the corner. When you don't have Lucio, an enemy doesn't have, you hold to the corner for your dear life. You see here is the basic concept, right? I told you as well, right? I mean, it applies on King of the Hill. Very important to hold corner. You see enemy tank walks forward. You know what we do? We are on the back line, bro. Here we can't because the shield is down and my backline is getting ulted and I have no shield. We get windowed and die, right? But it takes them 2 ults to kill us. At least, okay. But that's not really King of the Hill, so let's go forward. Retaking King of the Hill, guys, I have to give you... Okay, retaking King of the Hill, point pressure is very important in some points, okay? And try to always find a way if enemy is holding a choke, for an example. I knew they were holding left side, right? So I started rotating right side, okay? So always find a way to get like out of the choke with least resistance as possible. Make some sort of a rotation to avoid the enemies. Here, for an example, it was to go here, right? Like we can get out for free, and then I hit a surprise shatter. Almost a 3-man shatter. I get 2 people, hit the Kiriko, hit the Orisa, perfect. We win a fight. Okay. So in retakes and King of the Hill, guys, find an angle where they're not. And point pressure, very important. Let me go forward here. I make a mistake here, okay? Rare mistakes, but even I make mistakes. You know, everybody makes mistakes, right? Here, you know how I misplay? Like, I didn't realize my team was on point, and this is a big thing you need to learn in King of the Hill as well. Let's say you're holding space, and your teammates are capping points. So I am technically taking a 5v... I don't know how many I'm taking, but I'm taking like a 5v3, and that's why I die and we lose the fight. So remember, point pressure is important. If your teammates are capping point, you should just go back more. Or you need to communicate to your teammates that you need help. I didn't do either thing, so we lost the fight there. So TLDR so far, guys, first fight, take all the space. Remember, if teammates are on point, point pressure is very important. And then there's one thing that's very important too, guys. I don't really have it here, but always remember, guys, do not run off point. Always die on point on King of the Hill. Let's say you're losing a fight. Instead of running away, die on point, guys. The extra percentage matter a lot. A little bit of a cheat code for Reinhardt. If you have over 82% when enemy dies, they probably can't touch without like tracer or ball. So magical number is over 82. Pretty much 85% is almost guaranteed they can touch depending on the point. So remember that, guys. TLDR, King of the Hill, first fight, take all the space, die on point, always keep attention where your teammates are, and point pressure is very important, especially when you get to the good maps. So remember those thumbnails, rule of thumbs for King of the Hill, guys. Okay, let's go next time for Hybrid. Okay, so Hybrid, I mean, guys, Hybrid is a game mode where, I mean, first point, I mean, it depends a lot on map, right? I can't break down every single map, but first point is like, just get as much time as possible off the clock when you're in defense, right? You know, just get as much time as possible. But when you're attacking, point pressure is very strong for Reinhardt. Especially when enemy does not have a tracer and don't have an Orisa, they can't really contest point too well, right? So there's like a magical thing you can do on Hybrid, guys, is play Rat Rein on point. And just tell your teammates, just don't die, guys. I can move point for free, okay? Just tell your teammates a lot, you can move point for free. Point pressure OP, guys, remember that. But always communicate to your team what you want to do. Do you want to clear high ground? Do you want to stay point? Always point pressure on Hybrid every single time. Okay, like Hollywood second point is really hard, but you just keep pressuring point, guys. Just keep pressuring point, point pressure OP on attack. Okay, Rat Rein, guys. Remember magical call. Remember, guys, remember the matchups. Remember every hero you have, any heroes enemy have, right? Always remember that, guys, right? So play according to those rules, then always push. And just buy as much time as possible. On defense, what we want to do is we always want to die point. We want to hold every corner. We want to maximize our fights, right? Like, Hollywood is a perfect example, guys, right? Like, here we're going to go clear the high ground, right? I mean, it gets pretty weird because there's, like, a life fever, adventure, you know, it gets a bit weird and then, like, whatever, right? But you want to maximize your fight every single time. Okay, so you go die point, guys. Always fight around point. Because most second points in Hybrid, you can always get 3 to 2 fights. Okay? So most importantly, guys, remember to die on point on Hybrid, buy time, get 3 fights, and then third fight, try to use all ults and claim high grounds when you can. Okay? Maximize second point, always maximize fights on defense. Okay? And then third point, most third point Hybrids in this game and payloads have like corners, guys, okay? Like, think about corners in the game in Hybrids and payloads. Like, this corner for Reinhardt is one of the best spots in the entire game. Like, look at the time bank here, guys. I'm gonna show you 2 minutes of like fast forwarded and see what I do the whole game. I play sit on point Reinhardt. I just hug corner, I don't do anything. I tell my teammates to mark flank, mirror the tank though, okay? If enemy goes, you need to mirror tank. Very important for Reinhardt to mirror the tank shot. Okay, so we mirror tank, we get pooped off point. Tank is on top, I'm on top, guys. Look how I'm playing. Like, if tank is on top, point is not my problem, okay? Especially if it's a crown tank. Okay, now tank is main, I am in main. I mean, look at the gameplay. I'm not doing anything. I'm not pushing anywhere. I'm just playing a corner, guys. Buying time, stalling time. Might be looking a bit bad, guys, but it's not too bad. I even get craft. You know, team is dying around me, but I'm still staying alive. You know, staying alive. Kill the Zarya. Still staying alive. And what did I do the whole time? I just stood on point for like 2 minutes mirroring their tank. And now it's last one. You know what we're gonna do again, guys? We're gonna be sitting on the point. Okay. Look at that gameplay. Just sit on point, take damage, don't die, play sponge hard. They even have Ventural. It's looking pretty desperate here. Not honestly sure how we win. Good Moira ult, I think. Good High Noon to buy time. We get the Lucio, get the Venture, and then we win. Just like that, guys. And that's pretty much, I mean, Payload and Hybrid is the same thing. That's pretty much how you play Payload and Hybrid on Reinhardt. Just buy time on point and on attack, pressure the point. That's pretty much it. Okay, guys, so here we are at push, guys. Remember, it's all about what matchup you have. Do you play fast or slow? First fight depends what heroes. But let's look at this after we win the first fight. Look what you do on push, guys. This pretty much applies to every push map, okay? You need to practice and learn, but this is like a good example of what you do on Colosseum, right? Let's say you win a decisive first fight. You ask one of your teammates to stay on point, probably one of your supports. Better. Then you take space. Look where I am right now. Imagine if I was standing on point like an AI. You need to take space on a push after you win a fight. Doesn't matter if it's New Queen Street, doesn't matter if it's Colosseum, you need to walk forward towards space. Look at me, I'm standing in the map, I'm distracted, look at us. We're getting meters all the time, enemy can't walk up easily. Look at us, shoot them, just shoot, shoot, shoot. Now we have a window because we are holding space. Now we buy window. Look what's happening all this time. We're moving point. You know why? Because we're holding space. And then I make a play here. I don't know why I pinned there, because I thought my Zen was getting a bit scared, you know? So I go point because my Zen doesn't really want to stand on point, right? Now we have to drop, guys, but yeah, I mean, Orisa dies horribly there. And all of this happened because I was holding space. So after you win a fight on push, always hold space. Okay, another important concept, guys. If you have a lead on push and you have a slow comp, you don't need to push, okay? You just hold the chokes. Hold the best possible choke what you have. Like, for an example, Esperanza and Colosseum have a lot of good chokes, you know? Like, for an example, let me do Colosseum real quick as an example. Like, here is a good choke. And if you get pushed here, I'll show later, like standing here and abuse the payload hold. There's a lot of good spots, you know, you can abuse. Okay? You can just sit here and hold forever. I have a lot of quips on New Queen Streets as well, guys. You can go check out my Twitter, like all the bug abuse spots and when I play the game, right? But there's like a spots where you can hold the payload. Right? So when you have lead on push, remember, you don't have to force it too much. Especially if you have slow comp. But if you're losing, you have to force. And like here you can see for an example, guys, you can contest here from the high ground when the point is here. So always try to figure out these fancy G spots where you hold and wait for a cooldown advantage or a split. Right here, see, enemy is using window, my team is running away, but they can't do anything, right? Because I'm just here sitting on a spot they cannot push. There's a lot of these spots for Reinhardt. You play Rat Rein in a slow comp. And then after this, right, I shouldn't have dropped here, that was a mistake. I didn't realize they were tranking for some reason. But yeah, then things work out for us anyway, you know, team plays well, whatever, right? Good job by them. And that's it, guys. Remember, guys, play chokes, play your choke advantage, play your attack advantage, play all these angles, right? And remember, like, if you are losing, then you have to get a bit desperate, get a bit creative, ask for flanks. But pretty much always remember, defense, TLDR, defense, hold corners, attack. If you're falling behind, then you have to make crazy plays. And think about all these corners, like here. Just think about the corners. There's so many, like here. Here, oh my god, like the corners, bro, like, oh my god. And push, always have a guy on point, remember the point. And do not panic, guys. You're gonna have, like, even if you start losing, as long as enemy doesn't have, like, 120 meters on any map of the pushes, you're gonna be fine. Like, you have 2-3 fights in the game, if it goes for 10 minutes, that you have an ult advantage. Always remember, every push game is winnable. I've had push games where enemy had 95 meters, 100 meters, even 110 meters, and we snowballed in OT. Never give up in push. But I do have a pro tip for you guys. If you are ever in OT and you have like a 80-meter lead, don't play slow. No matter what comp you have, go for trades, guys. Because think about it. Enemy has OT spawn. They're spawning across the map. You have close spawn. So let's say you have a team fight where you kill one and 5 of you die. That is a team fight win for you pretty much. Because next fight you have spawns and you can just kill them in a 5v4. So in OT, play fast. If you have lead, if enemy has lead, you're okay. Let's say you're pushing at the point in push, right, in OT. You need to tell your team you'll stay point, because don't trust your teammates in OT to stay point. Same applies for payload and hybrid. So that is push pretty much maximized. If you guys are interested in maps, just come watch my stream, right? Because I play these maps all the time, you know, 8 hours of Rein every day, so come check it out. Okay, let's go for the flashpoint. Okay guys, here we are at flashpoint. Flashpoint gets pretty interesting, you know. I really like this game mode. A lot of people didn't like it at the start, but this game mode is really fun for me. So okay, depending if you win or lose first fight, okay? Like here we obviously win this first fight, right? And it doesn't really matter. But here when you have okay, how flashpoint works pretty much. Let's say you have 23%, right? An enemy takes a slow fight, they have 1 fight left, right? Let's see how they take the fight here. Okay, I'm gonna give you some percentages breakdowns how it works, and when you can feel confident you can go next point and when not. Okay, here it's 50%, it's 55%, monkey is 1. So here, it's currently 66% guys, so they can still recontest the point. Okay, let's say enemy loses a fight after 75%, they can't really touch, right? Because it's like, I think it's double the tick rate of King of the Hill. So let's see how this plays out here. Their monkey feeds and we win. Okay, I mean it's pretty simple, right? Like they just lose this fight here. Pretty nice and simple for us, right? And then we go next point, you know. Second point is on the left side, right? Okay. So with all this information we're gonna have this game. Okay, with all the information we have right here, right? So we know for a fact that this is okay. So there's 2 points on the left, there's 2 points on the right, right? So at this point we know for a fact that all the rest of the points are on the right side, right? And we are up 2-0. So let's go to the end of this point. Okay, let me fast forward to the end of the point. So with all this information, right? And we're like desperate to win here. So obviously, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, right? Like Team Finland is desperate to win here, right? Like here, we should have made the call to give up the point. Like you see when we died, it's like we die after 70%, right? And Vestala is dead at 70%. So here, knowing the fact that it's over 70% and they have to touch point, we should have went to the opposite side of the map because we know the next point is there, and with what I told you earlier, in that way we can guarantee we have choke point, and we have May, we have Bastion, we have Sigma, right? Having choke point is everything. And look what happens when we don't do that, right? Like we try to go for a contest and look what enemy does. Like South Korea is very talented, right? So they realize that let's go to the point first, right? They have Symmetra, they're faster, so they just run to the point and then we're choked out. When we could have done the same thing, give up the point and go there. So sometimes it's okay to give up point, guys. And that's pretty much flashpoint. Think about these things, okay? Just think about everything I said, okay? And that's pretty much every game mode covered. So now, guys, I'll get to the end of the formula, how to win everything, and some extra advice, okay? Okay, so guys, we have all the information we need in the world now. So I'm gonna give you guys extra 5 tips. Okay, so if you guys are struggling low as and Reinhardt, let's say you are less than masters. All of this advice is good, but the most important thing is that always play aggressive, guys. Okay, no matter what, if you're less than masters, always go more aggressive. You will climb way more on Rein. That is the most important advice I have. Use the techniques I taught, but also just go more aggressive. Just try to limit test. You will feed, but you need to learn. Number 2 tip I have. Always talk to your team. Always try to join voice and talk on Reinhardt because you do not have a gun, right? So you need to kind of lead the team. Just tell them what to do, and if they flame you, it's fine. You have 2 options. You either call them an idiot or you block them and flame them back a little bit. Never go too far, guys. Just go in voice, lead your team, do these things. Remember the 3-2-1, guys. 3-2-1 is the secret to anything. Number 3. If things are looking desperate in a fight, guys, like let's say you are down 1 or 2 people, you can still win, okay? Like there's one big mistake everyone does. This is not even about Reinhardt, it's just overall. If you're down 1 person in a fight and you have 5 ults, you can still go for the win, guys. Let's say you have nano played and your tracer dies, right? Just go for nano played, you know, it's not a problem. And like if you're down people in a fight as Reinhardt, just pin in 1v5, maybe you'll get a trade, maybe you can win. Just tell your team if things are not looking good, 3-2-1 pinning, and then most of the time that works for me as well, you know. Like you get a random trade and then you can turn the fight around, right? Number 4 tip. Go for YOLO shatters, guys. Just go for YOLO shatters, go for YOLO plays. You know, just do crazy stuff, you know, just be a bit crazy. Reinhardt is a little bit of a crazy guy, you know? Like, you have a hammer fighting bastions with turrets, Maugas with 2 miniguns. Just go for crazy moves, guys. Always go for crazy moves. Number 5, just enjoy it. Reinhardt is fun. You might not have the funnest comps always, but just have fun, you know? Limit, test, practice. You're going to lose a lot, guys, let's be honest. You're gonna lose a lot on Reinhardt, and that's fine. You're gonna lose a lot of games, you're gonna int a lot of games, a lot of people are gonna flame you. But just enjoy it, you know? If people flame you for playing Reinhardt, flame them back. Say, why you suck? Heal me. Get some picks, you know? Because people have a problem in this game that they will automatically blame Reinhardt even if it's not your fault. Like, I can't tell you how many times, even for me, you know, people kind of know me in high SR. Yeah, and I even got champion. People will blame the Reinhardt even when it's not your fault at all. So get used to it, guys. Just block them, ignore them. They don't matter. You know, you're on your Reinbro grind. Focus on the grind and have fun. I appreciate you guys watching this guide, and I'll make a lot of videos in the future, guys. I have a lot of good plans. Make sure you guys subscribe. If you have any more questions, make sure you ask me on Twitch. I do stream at least 6 days a week, so make sure you guys come check it out. Enjoy playing Reinhardt, guys. Welcome to the Reinbro Club, and skay. Until the next one, see ya!